Barlow says she started driving around the Park Duval neighborhood and eventually found her 13-year-old son walking east on West Ormsby Avenue, a 27-minute walk away from where he was originally dropped off. This intersection of 12th Street and Rowan Street will be turned into one of the main entrances for Waterfront Park. People like Meadows think that this will not only attract folks living in the West End, but also more businesses. Misty, do you have anything to say about what you knew about this throughout the last 6 years? Doug, so the Indiana State Police is doing a full review of Jamie Knowles' finances, and as a part of that, they got a statement from American Express. And of course, the card season this year is really getting some infused life from head coach Jeff Brom, and lucky enough, we have his sister here, Kim Brom, who is nice enough to give us an interview. Kim, how does this card season rank for you? While Ferguson and her neighbors are in the purple, the last group identified as part of Phase 2, and that means there has been at least an 8-year time difference in when people got their insulation based on if they lived on the west side of Alexander Avenue or the east side.
And it's midnight, and we just hear. We were kind of distraught. Like, what did we do?
Schnitzelburg seems like a quiet neighborhood.
Not really. We didn't think about it.
Until you look up and see your 100-ton neighbors in the sky.
That took off probably right over us.
While it is loud, it's also an approved zone for the Quieter Home program. The Louisville Regional Airport Authority came by both Keith Katz and Zach Bain's houses earlier this year to give them sound-resistant windows and doors.
They did a good job. Everything opens and closes.
Both men are fans of the end result, but not fans of the paperwork.
I tried everything I could to not sign it.
What percent of them use avigation easements?
Oh, 99.
Muhammad Ali is one of many airports that require people to sign an avigation easement if they want this sound insulation. It's an agreement that says if the airport authority tries its best to sound insulate your home, you cannot come back afterwards and sue the entity for any issues related to flights over your house. One passage says a person waives all rights to sue for any and all claims and demands of any nature, including injury or property damage. Is it common that that homeowners see these easements and they say, you know, no thanks, I'm all right, I don't want to sign this?
That does happen. It's unusual. But by and large, homeowners recognize that trade-off, and the value of the sound insulation that's provided is often substantial. And so doing their own personal risk analysis, they say it's worth the risk.
Airport lawyer Peter Kirsch says the language SDF is using is standard. And for anything like a crash in the sky or an airplane part falling onto a home, a person would probably sue the airline and never the airport.
There's nothing unlawful about what the airport is doing. The airport, I think, is just overreaching.
Sean Paris is a real estate lawyer in Oldham County who does not deal with airport law, but did talk to us about property rights. He says regardless of an easement, it's hard to imagine a lawsuit against the airport that could be successful. But the broad language in this contract gives the airport a lot of leeway to increase activity.
The nuisance that the airport operations may present to those homeowners is only going to increase. So we don't have to look to catastrophic events to try to put this agreement into context.
Both Bain and Katz understand what they signed and hope it doesn't come back to haunt them.
Resale value on a house doesn't hurt the resale value on a house because it is for everyone ever.
They are thankful for the sound insulation, but would like to see some of the language tightened up to give homeowners more peace of mind.
Why do you have to have those rights? I mean, you're going to keep on flying anyway. What are you protecting yourself against?
There's a lot of change happening here at the New Albany Township Fire Station 1, just across the Floyd County border. It's an all-new leadership team from the previous department that was here, but the new chief has found one interesting paper trail. The new decals on these fire trucks are so much more than just a rebrand.
The morale has done a 180.
Tim Franklin was the assistant chief of New Chapel Fire Department from 2019 until May 31st. That was Jamie Knoll's department for over 2 decades until the organization's board removed him in November due to his criminal trial. Franklin still works in the same building, which has a new name as of last Friday.
We had board members here over the weekend just checking in, and crews are sitting around laughing and cutting up. Didn't see a whole lot of that.
Franklin can't discuss specifics of working for New Chapel because of a non-disclosure agreement. Daryl Mills, president of the Fire Protection District, says he ended the contract because he learned employees were told to prioritize ambulance runs and didn't have a full staff of firefighters.
I call it a facade. I think that it was the image portrayed that they had full staffing for the fire department for when the board would meet. But I think after we were gone, they would go back to doing their duties on the ambulances.
New Albany Township Fire Rescue responded to 13 calls in its first 4 days as a department. It has 11 employees, many of whom worked for New Chapel. While this department has its eyes on the future, Franklin has recently become aware of something from the past. Look down here at the bottom of this page and tell me what you see.
At the bottom of this page, this is a 2019 tax form. It lists me as the title of director, but above my name is the signature of Jamie Knoll.
For 3 years, Franklin was listed as director on Utica Township Volunteer Firefighters Association's taxes. That's the official name for New Chapel. Franklin had no idea. Twice his signature was missing, and once it appears to be signed by Jamie Knoll. We found 2 of his signatures on other contracts to compare. Franklin also says he is very familiar with Knoll's signature, as he worked in management under him for over 4 years. Why do you think he would have done that?
I don't know why he's done a lot that he's been alleged to have done.
A spokesperson for the Firefighters Association said current leadership was not in place when these taxes were filed. But, quote, the documents speak for themselves and illustrate just one more way in which Mr. Knoll concealed various financial matters. Mr. Knoll has inflicted serious wounds on New Chapel. Yet, thanks to the ongoing efforts of our incredible employees and the support of new leadership, our company will not only survive, but be better in the long run. Knoll's attorneys in his felony case did not respond for this story.
We've got the training room converted.
These firefighters are restocking the building with furniture and having fun doing it.
We're all big kids.
They're getting more smiles in the community too.
Crews going to the store or getting positive feedback. Everybody was ready for a change.
Franklin says there will be monthly reports to the board about run times and expenses. And they chose to mark the chief's vehicle because they say they have nothing to hide. In Floyd County,
Chief is ready to roll.
Travis Breese, WHAS 11 on your side.
They need to stop this. And all they're doing is pushing them from one spot to another.
The overpasses at Breckenridge and College Streets in the Smoketown neighborhood. A hotspot for homeless camping across the street from the future Community Care Campus Outreach Center. Despite no camping signs, many people spend the night here.
And they're going to go find another place to be homeless.
Greg Donnelly knows this struggle firsthand.
I've been homeless for about 6 months. I broke my ankle and my tibia, and I couldn't pay rent.
He's currently staying at Hope Village, but came outside to try and console people who were being relocated.
No one cares, you know?
This is one of 2 main locations where the city does weekly cleanings if necessary. The other is south of Slugger Field in Phoenix Hill.
Anytime we do an encampment relocation, we take that very seriously. The point is to mitigate safety and risk issues that exist within an encampment and to those who live or work in close proximity to a encampment.
Deputy Mayor for Public Health Nicole George says fires in camps have become a big issue. One person died in a tent fire at this location in November. We also saw crews respond to some minor smoke in late January.
Sometimes those encampments are found in very difficult locations where, they themselves are impacting traffic.
I think the main thing that it's contingent upon, though, if you do relocate someone, is that you're moving them into a situation that's better than the situation you just described. So do you feel like that is what you guys are doing?
So that is absolutely the goal of Homeless Services Division.
In addition to the weekly cleanings downtown, crews also did 43 relocations throughout Louisville because someone submitted a complaint or city staff noticed it. These go through a formal assessment and notification process. The average amount of notice given was 8 days, and the city often gave more notice than required.
We're giving a proper amount of time, and in that time, the goal is to be able to get as much outreach as possible.
Between the date of posting and relocation, HSD workers are supposed to do a common assessment, which gets each resident on a path to housing. George says people under overpasses downtown also get a common assessment, in addition to police or city workers periodically checking on them.
Consistently letting community members know about shelter options, where they can get mail, where they can get IDs.
The people we talked to at the Smoketown weekly cleaning said they had not been connected to any resources. Did they say, you can go here, this is a place that can help you, or did they just clear your stuff?
They just cleared my stuff. It's hard being out here and you don't have anyone. And I'm sorry I'm crying, but it's difficult.
A lot of people involved in the city, they want to help, and we want to do this, we want to do that, and then you don't hear from them anymore.
Donnelly and Treshana Ware say there is a disconnect between what the city says is being offered and the options actually given to them.
It's like we have to give you the speech, and then we're done.
The thing they trust most is relying on each other.
There's a lot of times we don't have anything, but if we have a little something and someone like us needs it more than we do, we give it to each other.
In total, the city did 92 camp relocations or cleanings last year. It cost nearly $500,000, including staff salaries and public works equipment. The city says it did secure housing for more than 30 homeless residents last year. In Louisville, Travis Breese, WHAS 11 on your side.